This is Joe from ArtAlienTV, and today I've got this image to show you, or set of images I should say. This is from Sol 1074. This set of images was actually taken about 9 years ago by the Curiosity rover in Gale Crater. And the reason I'm showing you this now is because basically I've been going back over some of the older sols from early on in the mission, because actually they're better quality images than what we get now. They seem to be clearer and brighter in many ways. Whether there's more dirt on the actual lens cover on the camera, I don't know. Maybe that's why they're looking muddier. But basically, we got a really nice, clear image here. And the thing I want to show you is up here on the mountain. Now, I'm going to show you the clips first, down here, then I'll show you where to look, because it's easier for me if we do it this way. There we are. Now, this is about 2 or 3 miles away up on the mountainside, and we have a huge structure here, right? Let me show you it there. It's leaning back, and it's on the lower slope of Mount Sharp here, and it's kind of rectangular. It's got a slight curve here. It's got some detail on top, but we basically have a rectangular sloping structure on the side of the mountain. Now, I've seen this on and off for years, and I think I may have shown it many, many years ago, early on in my channel. And but it wasn't a very good image. I think it was a bit further away. It was a bit paler. We couldn't really see it very well. If I use the magnifier, we've got this big sort of pyramidal type mound here, and then over to the left we have this structure, which is at least about 1,000 meters up the side of the mountain and about 2 miles, maybe 3, from the rover. If I show you here, now, the rover would be sat in the middle of this, about here somewhere, and then moves the camera around and takes a whole set of images like this in a panoramic, okay? You can do the same with a mobile phone, but you'd struggle to get more than 3 or 4 to fit together, I would imagine. But the distance is very deceptive from where we are here in the middle, at the bottom, to that ridge at the here. This is about 200 feet from here to here, but from this point here on this mound to this one further back is about a whole kilometre away. And then it's about another kilometre to here, and then it's another kilometre up the side here. So you're talking miles, okay? Now that's straight in front of us. This is at an angle, so that's even further away. So this, I would say this is at least 3 miles away, and it's about 1,000 feet, more, maybe more like 1,000 meters up the side of the mountain, right? Which is about 3,000 feet up. Who knows? It's a long way up anyway. I would say it's a couple of thousand feet or something like that. It's very, very deceptive. When you look at these images, it's really hard to get an idea of how large this area is until you look at lots of the other images, which give you more of an overview of the mountain and the lake bed and everything else. Here it is full screen. Now, this is one of the clips I've done. Now, the problem is when you take a clip of this and darken it, it goes very red, so you need to desaturate the image to get something like this. It's still very red, but it will go really red, because the mountain is mainly sandstone by the looks of it, and it's kind of a yellowy colour. When you darken it, it goes very, very red indeed. But there it is. I mean, it's a long way away, but it's very large, and this is the best view I've ever seen of it. And I've had it in my archives for years, and I've completely forgotten about it. When I redid this Gigapan just yesterday, I thought, wow, that's the best view of that particular thing I've seen. And it's insane. This thing is hundreds of feet long. There's another clip of it here. There's the wider angle. So we got that pyramidal mound there, and then we have the structure up on the mountain at the back in the top left corner. Here's the double beam here with the wider shot at the bottom and the closer one at the top. Gives you a pretty good idea of scale. This thing's hundreds of feet tall. This pyramid type thing here on the right. This thing down here. So this thing is also hundreds of feet long, I would say. I've got different clips. I've got a negative of it down here. There's the actual thing on the mountain side. Let's get a bit closer. This is brighter as well. I've really cranked up the brightness. You can see that this thing is kind of like a mobile phone shape, but and it's got detail on top of it as well. You can see detail here. Not very clear, but that hard edge and curve at the bottom says to me that this is completely artificial, or at least it's been cut straight out of the bedrock. Like many of the structures I've shown on Mount Sharp, they were cutting into the rock and making structures in the rock as well as building on top of it, okay? That's what they were doing. They were digging into it. Sandstone, especially when wet, is actually fairly easy to cut out of all the different types of stone there are, different types of rock. Unlike granite, it's quite soft. If you wet it, you can cut it with a saw, and you can chisel it quite easily as well. It's nowhere near as hard as some. Getting it nice and close. There it is. And here's a negative of it. You can see that shape now. It's got some kind of detail on top there in the middle, which is circular. It's hard to see in the actual image here because it's all kind of a muddy, kind of pinky brown colour. Right? And when you see the negative, you can actually see the detail of the object in the middle. Here. Just there. Very strange. Now, let's have a look at the others. Let's see if we can pick it out. There's some kind of detail there. It's hard to say what it is, but it's very strange indeed. Let's have a look at this one. You can't see it there either. The negative actually shows it better. You can just about make out something there. If I go back and use the magnifier, you might be able to see that better. Yeah, there's some kind of weird design to it. It's not just a rectangular structure. It's got some kind of roof type stuff going on there, or another smaller structure built on top of it there. Just about make out something sticking up there. Let's go back to the negative. Very strange. This is one of the most unusual structures I've seen on Mount Sharp. Most of them are kind of like cave-like structures which are built into it. This thing is way bigger than most of them. And it's really, really odd. Absolutely insane. There are a few other things in this Gigapan. I'll just show you briefly. There was this thing, which looks like a boat. I've shown this before a few times. I call it the speedboat or boat. And this is miles away, but you can see that there's a boat-like structure with like a hydrofoil. This is why I called it a hydrofoil. Okay, I did a couple of videos on this years ago. Right, so there was that. There's a negative of it. You can actually see that there's detail here sticking down. Now, you're never going to see amazing detail on something that's miles away, but you can if the things are big enough. You can work out roughly what they are, whether they're a boat or a structure or a bunker type structure or a pyramid. Or just look at the shapes and the shadows, and you can work them out. There was that, okay, the speedboat type thing. There's these things here which are really nice. Now, I'm not saying these are necessarily artificial, but they don't look normal, especially this one on the right here. This kind of curved pyramid type thing. Really strange. It's mostly buried. And we have this butte here, which is just really nice to look at. I mean, and it looks like water here, but this is actually blue sand, okay? It may look like water, but it's not. This lake bed is largely filled in with sand and debris, a lot of it which has come down from the mountain. But basically, this lake bed would have been much deeper than this initially, but it's gradually filled in over the millennia with sand and dust. So lots of this stuff is heavily buried. This thing here probably goes down another 20, 30 feet, possibly 50 feet down. Really odd looking stuff here, right? Especially that. Mainly because of the colour of it. It really stands out. And then we got this structure here with a sort of archway on it as well. It's got like a sort of couple of windows. So it's like a part of a building here, just here. It's not very clear, but it's a long way off. I'll go back a bit and zoom in that way. There we are. We've got this kind of slight roof type dome on top with what look like windows here. And it's built onto the side of this so-called butte here. This has also got this weird thing on the end of it here. Some strange kind of structure. Now, I've seen this in many images and it always looks odd from whatever angle you look at it. But we've never been really close to it, unfortunately. So we can only speculate what that might be. So check this Gigapan out. I mean, there's loads of crazy stuff here. There'll be a link to this down in the description below. And you can check out these structures yourself. There's that boat. Just there, right? It's a bit pale there. You need to darken it up a bit, really, to see it properly. The huge structures up here. It's quite pale and pasty in the background, but you can see it quite clearly, actually. You can actually see that edge really clearly. It's got a long, straight side to it there. You've got these weird mounds in the background. Some of them look totally artificial. There's the big Sphinx face here on the side of the mountain, which I've shown a number of times before. That's hundreds of feet in size, with a kind of causeway going up to it here. Some crazy stuff. There's also this weird kind of pyramidal mound here, which looks artificial as well. That's an image glitch there, that black thing. But we got this kind of almost perfect kind of tall pyramid there. I mean, crazy stuff. So check this stuff out. There's lots of stuff to see in this one. And I've only basically taken clips here of the larger, more obvious structures and objects. There are loads more. There's all sorts of pyramids and domes and weird structures in the background. But basically, this structure is huge. And I really cannot see how anyone can tell me that this thing is natural. Especially when you see it in negative there, you can tell that is not a normal structure, right? Look at that. That is not a normal structure. We've got a circular thing in the middle with a rectangular thing on the outside. Absolutely insane. So there it is, full screen again. There's no way that this is a natural structure. This is artificial, okay? And I've shown many, many similar things on Mount Sharp and in this area and on other parts of Mars. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Keep your eyes peeled for my next video. I'll be doing a shorter one in a day or two. I've got some crazy things close up on the ground to see, some of them which look like calcified creatures, okay? And more updates on the Dragon Ridge artifacts. There's loads of weird things on Dragon Ridge. If you haven't seen it, check out the Mars Dragon statue guard secret entrance video. That's going kind of viral at the moment. There's a really clear entrance with brickwork here and a large dragon or lizard like statue guarding it, okay? And I've called it Dragon Ridge. So I'll be doing an update on some of the things in that area as well in the next couple of days. Keep your eyes peeled for that because there's loads of weird things on the ground. And there seem to be calcified animals and all sorts of weird sculptural fragments, architectural fragments, and all sorts of weird smashed up building parts and concrete blocks and stonework and that kind of thing. It's insane. Things like pillars and all sorts. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled for that. That'll be up in the next couple of days. This is Sol 1003. Curiosity rover, and there's a beautiful view here of the Forbidden City, which is one of my favourite views, this one. Really spectacular. We have these kind of rocks in the foreground, but we got the city in the background up here, right? Let me show you with the magnifier. We've got domes, pyramids, structures, all in a row in the Forbidden City here, okay? And we have the causeway coming down here, right down to the bottom here. And then we have lovely detail in this image here. Lovely sharp detail. So some of these old Curiosity rover images are really good quality. If you clean them up, stitch them together and brighten them up a bit, they look great. I mean, there's loads of detail to be seen in here and there's some weird little things in here strange fragments that look like pieces of metal and strange objects, all sorts of stuff. Okay, so check out some of this stuff. That was Sol 1003, but the main one today was this one, of course, Sol 1074. The huge structure on the side of the mountain. Absolutely no way that that is a natural structure. Okay, look at the negative. Look at the different clips I've got of it here. You can see that shape pretty clearly. Okay, so thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out the links. See you in a few days.